he's better than Muhammad Ali. And I remember I was going livid. I was like, what, are you crazy? Yeah. Right? And I remember this. I remember, was it February 25th, 1989, he fights Frank Bruno, right? And I remember Des Lynam, who I respect. And I remember Des Lynam saying like, a lot of people are comparing him to Joe Frazier, but, you know, he's far better than that. And I was like, you know what I mean? I was going off him then because people was kind of comparing, like, he could beat Muhammad Ali. And nobody can beat Muhammad Ali. I was like, but yeah, I really went off Mike Tyson. But Mike Tyson at that time there, when he lost those handlers who were around him, like he had a close friend, Steve Lott, who not recently, a few years ago he passed away. Steve Lott was around him. You know, Bill Caton was not the nicest person. If you ever read Mike Tyson's book, Undisputed Truth, it's a really, really good book. I would say to anybody, go get that book. But when he had those people around him, more so Customaro, he was more grounded. Kevin Rooney, he was more grounded.
Yeah.
But then I understand how Don King wormed his way in with him, and you know, Mike, you're not being real, Mike. You gotta be with the brothers and stuff, and it went pear shaped. But in all honesty, hand on heart, for someone to become world heavyweight champion at age 20, come on. I don't want to hear anything else from anyone.
Spencer, I want to ask you a question. You're an ex-boxer yourself. I felt your strength in your hand just by shaking it, and I'm like, I forgot he's a boxer. He's a fighting man. He's got that energy inside him. But Mike Tyson now is what, 58, 59? You're an ex-boxer, so you knew how hard you used to train, probably still in the gym, keep yourself trim and stuff. How much of that strength... There you go. Don't start stripping now. But how strong is Mike Tyson now as a 50? I mean, if he was there in front of you and he offered you out, would you be like, you've got a chance?
Yo, I'm going to tell you a story, right? I was head of sports for a social media company called Disciple Media. So we're going back a few years now. We're going back a decade now. Wow. We're going back a decade. And we got out to Vegas because we was going to sign up Mike Tyson to do this app. So I'm there now, and my mate Brian Judah, who's Zab Judah's little brother, he was like, yeah, I can sort it out for you, man. Like, for you to come meet Mike Tyson and you can pitch to him. But it wasn't. It's actually his wife Kiki. It was actually lovely, and the only reason why her name sticks out in my head because my daughter's name's Kiki as well, my eldest daughter. So we've gone out there to Vegas. So it's me and my business partner, who's like my mentor, a dear friend of mine, Julian Pitton. We go out to Vegas. And we left Vegas Convention Center, and Mike Tyson doing a signing. So we've gone out there, and like one of Mike's friends, Greg, because I'm a historian, Mike's a mad historian as well. But he went up to Mike, he was like, oh, Mike, you got to meet this guy, Spence. We met before as well. We met a couple times. Because you got to meet Spence. He's a mad historian, man. He knows way more shit than you. You know the Americans are, right? It's still Mike Tyson. Yeah. Like, do you really think Mike Tyson really wants to hear like this young kid knows more? I don't know if I know more than Mike Tyson, but I know that I'm more astute now because Mike Tyson will tell you like he's lived that life. You know what I mean? I don't even drink, I don't smoke. You know what I mean? Right. So we're there at the convention center and we shook hands and like, right. And this is prior to me just going to meet his wife. I met his wife, had a meeting with his wife, signed off a deal, said, oh, great. So we've come in there now. So it's like, his guy Greg says, oh, Spence, you take the mic and like, I want you to host a show. I'm going to give you a few dollars, you host a show. So host what show? You're going to host Mike. I remember Coogan Cashy was there from IFL, so he filmed this. I'm gassed because I'm hosting Mike Tyson in Las Vegas Convention Center. That's like, wow, there's like thousands of people there. So I'm there and I hosted it. And Mike Tyson had a glove that he was signing. That you sign his glove and like you pay, I think it was like $400 for a signed glove. And he had his own brand on it. So this Mexican man came and he said like he wanted the glove. But he had his own glove, but he still paid the $500 or whatever it was, but could you sign his glove? So he's gone to the organizer, and the organizer most probably didn't, because he's a Mexican and he was there with his family, but he was really like, no, You gotta buy this glove, and but I said, what difference does it make? He's still paying the same money. So I was hosting a show with a really lovely lady, right? Alexa, me and her were hosting the show, and she said, "Oh, Spence, could you go and just tell the organizer guy, like, it's no problem. The guy just wants his own glove signed." So, and I could see this guy was like this little short, tubby white American guy, but he was getting really animated on this poor Mexican guy. And the Mexican guy was just being humble. Hey, I just want to sign my glove, please. Like, you know what I mean? I don't want no trouble, right? So I've gone over there, and I'm not even. How I speak, I'm using a lot of hand gestures. So I'm like, well, bro, this I've just you got the wrong end of the stick. This guy just wants the thing signed, but he wants his own glove signed.
Yeah.
Right? Still paying the same money. Here's the money. Right. So from the corner now, Mike's seeing my hands doing all of this to the promoter who's just booked him. Now I know he's already got the hump because he may say, "Nah, you can't talk to this guy when it comes to boxing. He knows too much boxing." Right? All I hear is from the back, hey man. You're like what? He goes, "Hey, you don't talk to him like that. He's the promoter. You keep your fucking mouth shut, okay? You're the fucking DJ." I said, "Brother, I'm not the DJ. Your mate Greg just asked me to host it." Said, "I don't give a shit. This man, I'm like." So I'm looking and like, now you gotta remember, this is I don't know, 2014. I'm looking at Mike Tyson, and I know you've just been on a piss the night before. Yeah, you stunk of weed. I was looking and I'm saying, like, I fancy me chances there, you know? No, seriously. It sounds crazy. Man, that's what I know, because that's when you got it. I say I fancy my chances. And like, because especially then, he's been on this vegan thing and he's lost weight. I'm looking, I'm saying, I fancy my chance. No, seriously, I fancy my chances. Because at that time, you're in your 50s now. And at that time, I must have been about 30 something. I was like, I really do fancy my chances there. So I'm looking around to see the rest of the crew that's with me to see if they're going to back me when Mike's going off at me, right? I turn around, and I'm looking for like Zab Judah's brother and the rest of his crew. They're all on the other side of the auditorium. So they've left me. I'm in front of Mike Tyson now. I'm thinking, right, it's going to go off. And then he looked, he goes, hey man, hey, what are you here for? What are you here for? I goes, mate, I was just here with your wife earlier. He goes, brother Spence. Whole demeanor's changed. Gave me the biggest hug. Oh man. And I was explaining to him, no, I would never disrespect you or anybody, but the guy didn't understand what this Mexican man was saying. I'm trying to explain to him, it's all love. Oh man, you. And like, yeah, I'll show the picture. But it could have gone curtains for me there. Whoa. Yeah, I mean, seriously, it could have been curtains. It could have been curtains for me. But yeah, That's my Mike Tyson story. It's very funny because, and since then we've been really cool mates. I'm really close to his family. Like his father-in-law, who's a devout Muslim, isn't a mom. His wife, his family. So we spent time with him when we was out in Saudi Arabia, because they've got a gym out there as well. I went to the gym opening as well. The gym's actually being run by Joel Gallagher. Okay. So it's like, yeah, I'm really grateful for that. But I've got a Mike Tyson story where it could have gone tits up for me. And I wouldn't have been the knowledge because it hit me so hard I wouldn't remember anything.
Do you think he's got that crazy power?
Of course it.
So look, there's a fight coming up between him and Jake Paul. Jake Paul's quite a strong boy as well, and he's in his late 20s. He's got that higher testosterone. He's been more active. What chances does Jake Paul have against Mike Tyson?
He's got a hell of a chance simply because Mike Tyson's old. I mean, just got to be real. But you know when people say the last thing you lose as a fighter is your punch. When you can hit like Mike Tyson, and it was like, remember he did that exhibition, what was it, 5 years ago or whatever, he did that exhibition with Roy Jones. Yeah. Right? And Roy Jones would say, look, Mike real. Yeah, he punch real hard. Mike is a real guy. So I'm looking and I'm saying, like, don't kind of take this as a joke. Mike can still hit. But I'm looking at that and also that was like 5 years ago, Mike. And you were an old man then, right? You got into incredible condition, but you're still an old man. I don't know. Simply, this is the truth. I don't know because I don't really rate Jake Paul. I don't, but I have to rate his commitment because he's committed to these things, and he's well been trained by a couple of guys I know. Jay Leon Love, former super middleweight WBC Intercontinental champion. He trains him, and also Shane Mosley. You know what I mean, a free weight world champion. Shane Mosley trains him as well, works in there. So he's clever to the fact that I'm going to surround myself with greatness, or I'm going to surround myself with great guys who know what they're doing. So it's not a foregone conclusion, because I've got to say, like, Mike, you are an old man, right? That's all I'm saying. Mike, you're an old man. If it was Mike 10 years ago, it's 10 years ago, right? He'd be 48. He'd destroy Jake Paul, right? Destroyed. I mean, seriously hurt him. But